My name is Coach Conley. I'm the head men's and women's tennis coach at Tiffin University. It's actually been really complex, and I feel like that there's a lot of information out there right now, and I think it's important for everyone to make sure they're following protocol from the CDC and the guidelines from those that are experts in the area. But overall, doing pretty well. I think here at Tiffin, we've been doing a great job too with COVID and trying to self-manage it here. It was tough. The worst part of it was giving the news to my team that we would have to we could no longer finish our season. So that was pretty difficult. But I was also worried about the safety of our students and trying to get them back home for those that are internationals. So it was a difficult transition. I remember giving the information to my team, and many of the students sitting down and were very upset and confused and worried at the same time for not only their season but their family and themselves. So overall, I think we processed the spring semester really well, and we came back this fall and are prepared and ready. Yes, 100%. I honestly did not think initially that we were going to be able to come back to campus, and largely I didn't think my international students were going to be able to come back to campus. So I thought that there was so many, I like to say, red tape, that I wasn't for sure if everything was going to come to fruition. So I really doubted it, but I'm very happy that we found a way to make it work. Oh, so that's an interesting question. Largely, there was so much information coming out daily that it was tough to process from the NCAA, from our conference office, and here institutionally. I think really all the information that was coming out was difficult to be able to process. But over time, we here at Tiffin really tried to self-manage, and we had protocols set up before students came on campus on what we had to do with terms of masks, CDC requirements, how we were going to do practices, and when we're in the weight room and the indoor facilities, we have a process to make sure everything's clean to try to be able to help prevent student athletes potentially catching COVID. So the process has been way better than I anticipated. I'm really proud of it. So I told my student athletes the very first meeting that we had that if you don't feel comfortable, you are welcome to make sure you don't come to practice. I tried to self-manage practices. If I felt someone was sick or ill or even had a cough, they didn't come to practice. I told some athletes that if they wanted to practice but they didn't feel safe in a team environment, that we could practice individually. But ultimately, I wanted to make sure that every one of my student athletes understood that this semester is going to be different than other semesters. That if they don't feel safe, or there's a situation where they don't feel they'll be safe at that moment, that I will not hold anything against them because it's a unique year, and every person's looking at this differently. That's a good question because I'm still working on it. The biggest thing is that in the fall semester we've been asked to try to keep all our matches and our competitions to one-day trips. So come spring semester, we're still working on how we're going to manage that, because obviously some of our competitions will require for us to stay overnight in a hotel. So the university has really asked for a detailed plan whenever we take trips that are overnight on what we do to plan to keep you guys safe. For example, in the hotels, even though most hotels do a really good job with cleaning and making sure everything's done, one of the things the university has asked us to do is to make sure that before any students go in, we clean them ourselves, just to double check that they're safe. If we're staying overnight for multiple nights, we need to clean those between nights, and our hotel rooms are limited to 2 student athletes per room. So in the past, we would have 4 student athletes typically in a room. To make sure for safety reasons, we are only allowing 2 student athletes per room. So obviously, that's something that we have to consider when we're traveling in terms of cost, because hotel rooms, are not exactly cheap, but safety is the most important thing. So We want to make sure that our student athletes are going to be safe for the future. I'm just trying to be able to think of next week, not even next week, tomorrow, what we're going to be able to do. But the beauty of it is I do think that mankind has always shown that we're resilient, and we find the opportunities to better our world. So this is an opportunity for us to be able to learn from a virus and become better for it. So